One often overlooked aspect of pivot tables is that they make it easier for you to locate individual data points. As an example, suppose you have a pivot table that summarizes sales data over a series of years. If you want to display the data row that provides the value displayed in a pivot table cell, double-clicking that cell causes Excel to drill down into the data source and create a new worksheet that contains an Excel table with a copy of the appropriate row. So, for example, let's say that I wanted to see the row in the data source for this pivot table that provided the value for firm A, 2009, and the month of March. That's the cell that I selected inside the pivot table. To do that, I double-click the cell, and Excel creates a new worksheet, and it shows an Excel table with the entire row providing the data for that cell in the pivot table. Now, this drill down capability only works for one cell at a time, but it is possible to drill down into a data source even if the pivot table draws its data from an external source, such as a database table or another workbook. You can do that because Excel draws the row it displays from the program's internal representation of the data source, which is called the pivot cache, instead of the source table itself. After you've displayed the row providing the value for a pivot table cell, you can press Ctrl-Z to try to delete the worksheet. When Excel indicates that data may exist in the sheet that you've selected for deletion, then click the Delete button in the dialog box, and Excel gets rid of the sheet. Drilling down into the original data source provides context for the data that appears in your pivot tables. Rather than finding the right row among hundreds or even thousands of rows in a source table, you can display just the one you want by double-clicking the cell you want to investigate.